Hi, thank you for that introduction. Thank you guys for having me. When you read the description of the businesses that I work on, you don't automatically think of philanthropy. But over the years, it's really become more of a mainstay in not only what I do for myself, but also what I've done with all of the wonderful clients and individuals and corporate clients over the years. And since I am a businesswoman, and I think from a businesswoman's perspective, and as John mentioned, my focus is really on helping individuals and businesses get to the next level and up level. I realized that in philanthropy, there are a lot of areas where there are gaps. Some foundations and some philanthropists have this really fantastic, which is great in a sense that they're very holistic in terms of the offerings that they provide. But then so many others don't. Like, for example, I'll just make it real simple. Someone says, oh my gosh, these people are hungry and they want to help donate and, try to end hunger. Now, that is something that's a notable thing to do. However, you can't just stop there in terms of supplying the food. Like maybe you may help them, depending on if it's a developing country, help them to learn how to grow food and plant and things of that nature. If it's here and maybe more industrialized nations, people might also go ahead and say, okay, we'll get food banks together, we'll donate to food banks, we'll try to do the allocation, things of that nature. But even when someone is fed, it's like, okay, well, the root cause of why they need food is more than just the allocation part. But so many people just stop there. You have to look at it holistically to say, okay, obviously they're in a poverty situation. Is it temporary or is it permanent? If the focus is on poverty alleviation, then we want to start looking at everything holistically. So for the people coming, let's just say for food, and as a philanthropist, let's say you donate to food bank, you also want to make sure that there are other services that are going to take them to truly up level. Because the truth of the matter is everyone in this planet, we all know this, we all have gifts and talents. Everyone has been here, we put on this earth, and everyone has the ability to use their gifts and talents to be able to take care of themselves, to live great lives. This world is something that is amazing, and it's not something that, you know, uh, even though we have limited resources in certain areas, I think the majority of where we're at has extensive resources. So I think a lot of times it's really about helping to empower people and looking at everything holistically. One of the things that I've done, like John mentioned, two of my businesses. So I do have my strategic growth advisory business, and then I have the resume business. That when I first started doing it, I actually worked with everyone from high school all the way up to executive. Now I focus primarily more on executive level, helping people to become an executive or get on boards. But what I realized is that the people that I didn't work with before, the ones who are, let's just say, from high school up to, let's say, manager level, even though I didn't focus on that anymore, I realized that more and more their needs actually became greater over the years. You would think with all this technology and with Google and everything else that the needs would become less. But the truth of the matter is the needs have become greater. And that's because basic skills on how to prepare yourself to get a job, even beyond the crafting of the resume and the cover letter, definitely the interview prep is something that so many groups have a hard time with. And so even my firm came up with what I call philanthropy offerings, because I just felt that the best way to reach a large group of people in a lot of these areas is to partner with philanthropists and those who already have some of these groups in mind. So whether they are high schoolers or right out of college, I have curated offerings for those who maybe went to HBCUs, some who were maybe former military, people who may have been in domestic situations, violent situations, women and girls, because unfortunately, ladies, for all of you guys listening, unfortunately, for whatever reason, it's still a very hard time when going through the process to get you guys to really focus on being confident and to really step up and truly articulate what you bring to the table. People who have autism, many different groups that I've come up with, and I've been partnering with philanthropists and other nonprofit organizations to provide this, because even if someone is coming in for something totally related that you would think, I just know that after the healing occurs, with this mental health issues, if, like I said, you were in this particular situation, after that, once you get healed or in the process of healing, the best thing to do is not just get a job, because some places do provide that as well. And yes, resume and cover letter and all that will help you to get a job. This is true. But I work with people to truly help them to get what they will put on this earth to get. And that's why I've been in business over 20 years and helped so many people achieve their dreams, because being able to pull out the value that they have, once whatever their situation, whether again, it is something that's a resource based and they need to be stabilized, or if it's mental and emotional based because of something that they've gone through or are going through, it's so important to be able to do that. And so, working with people who have that same mindset and already have the same passion to help people, like I said, in these certain groups and areas through their philanthropic efforts, through working with nonprofits, or directly creating programs and entities through their own foundations, if they have one, has been amazing. And it's definitely something I want to focus on more. So it's really about, again, looking at it holistically. So if I take it into kind of three buckets, I always put it like, okay, bucket one or step one is your immediate needs, right? You have to meet the immediate needs of whoever it is that you're trying to serve. After you meet the needs, and again, that can be, again, technically based, like I mentioned, food or housing, shelter, some kind of level of stability, because we all need stability before success. Stability always comes before success. So you need to focus on that first. And then after the stability is there, then I believe the next part is really, okay, let's get the mindset right. Let's get the right resources right in terms of getting them to step two, which is not only becoming functional, so that you're not really just, what is the proverb? I believe it's like, if you give someone a fish, they have something to eat for a day. If you teach them to fish, they'll fish for life, type of thing. So to me, step two is really more but the mindset change, and that part is something is critical. And again, regardless of if it's basic, human needs, or if it's mental and emotional needs, that's step two for me, because the mindset has to be right. And then step three is, like I said, is what I think about in terms of helping those to get to that next level. Because when you get to that next level, like I said, that is where you're really truly helping the people realize that you're trying to serve and trying to meet and trying to help change society, that this is the next step to go to. And it's so interesting, because those three steps are the same types of things that when I deal with companies and I deal with businesses that are trying to get to the next level or accelerate growth or turn around if they have not been profitable and I need to help turn them around or restructure them, it's really the same step. It's just executed in a different way. So again, step one is kind of like stability. Let's make sure we get everything. Like, what is the situation? Let's assess it. Let's get everyone stable. Step two is the mindset work. I mean, growth strategy and mindset is also an area that I do a lot of speaking on, because I understand with working with so many companies and so many industries and so many sizes and so many situations, that mindset is something that has to take place first. Because if you just try to jump from, okay, we got our basic needs met, so now we're going to try to go ahead and take these people to the next level, like I said, oftentimes they're gaps. And so being able to have that mindset change first, so that you believe in yourself, and then afterwards executing, is what health and business first. And in philanthropy, it's the same thing. It's step one, stability. Step two, get the mindset right. And then step three, execute, and then make sure now that the mindset's right and the stability is there. Now it's not a matter of, okay, we have to keep on going back and feeding these people, or we have to keep on going back and doing these things. And in developing countries, obviously sometimes it could be more challenging depending on whatever's going on geopolitically, whatever's going on and everything else. But I think that the steps are still the same. Is that sometimes this is a little bit more creative to get some of those things. I mean, I know that a lot of times entrepreneurship is not just about getting a job. Entrepreneurship is something that's instilled upon a lot of these areas, so that makes sure people can support themselves and sustain themselves. But even with that, I still kind of take it back to that step two, the mindset shift, because a lot of times the entrepreneurship and when people are doing this, again, well-meaning to get people to be able to eat and to be able to sleep, then the thing that's often let's just say a challenging thing for them is that they don't think big. As you know, so many millions of people start businesses in this country and all over the world, but the majority of those businesses don't stay in business, very long. The statistics haven't changed over many, many years. And on top of that, the amount of money that most small businesses make here and abroad, so again, so it has nothing to do with socioeconomic levels and things of that nature. They don't really make a lot of money. I mean, most of them don't make over $100,000, and in developing nations, whatever their bar is, a lot of times they make less than that as well. So it's really about empowering people from beginning to end and getting them to that place so that they are, again, not only getting what you want to give them out of that goal, but helping them to reach that next level. Because when they reach that next level, and it's amazing when you have, certain people here and there that are kind of the shooting stars and you kept them out. But the truth of the matter is there's so many that are left behind because they're not, the approach is not in this way, I should say. Again, some foundations do it, some organizations do it, but most don't. Or if they do, quite frankly, they do it in a poor way. So I think that approaching this in the kind of way in terms of if you were in that situation or if it was a family member or someone you cared about, or looking at it from a societal level, to the extent that we uplift and empower everyone, then everyone rises to the top. I think everyone knows that from a basic level, but the reason why I think so over all these years and hundreds of years, people have been trying to help those who are not at the level they should be, and we're still in this cycle, is because of this same thing. So being able to really take these steps into heart and to be able to execute it well and execute it in a way that's going to truly not just impact the individual, but truly impact society and impact the world as a whole is what I think is the best approach. Definitely have seen a lot of that impact with some of the clients I've worked with. And also some of the schools I worked with in the past, high schoolers, that I worked with when principals have brought me on to help those who may not be going to college here domestically, and then people who have done things globally, and seeing the change and the impact has been amazing. So I just encourage all of you to be able to do the same things. You might be doing them again, but maybe execute them in such a way that if you, we're gonna, get looked at by the stock market and investor report and be able to say, oh, these are the steps we took and this is the result. And this is why all these people now are truly being able to not just, be who they started off with based on their situation, but who they truly were meant to be on this planet. Because we know when we uplift one, we uplift all. And hopefully this is something that you guys think about going forward. If you haven't been doing it, because it's not how can I say, you can definitely start right now. There's no reason to take time before you can start and start executing, since everyone has a heart and a passion who's doing this already, to do this in an elevated, upgraded way. So hopefully this was something that was beneficial to you all and something for you guys to think about. If you have any other questions about maybe how I can help you, one of my firms can help you, is already doing this, you can definitely go to diamondexecutiveresumes.com for the resume business, and Elevate Diamond Strategy for the strategy business as well.